Money to be made, best believe a nigga clocking. I run it myself like a quarterback option. I picture 10 G's, tell a bitch to go shopping. She buy herself some clothes and she bought me back a chopper. See, niggas trying to kick it, but no, I don't play soccer. I'm all about my cake, I'm trying to marry Betty Crocker. A package on the way, you know my whip game proper. And off of one key, I see $70,000. Now I was shooting dice, smoking on a joint. I bet with Yo Gotti he hit 5 straight points. We over here hustling, we over here grinding. You rap about money and a nigga might sign you. Rap about me and a nigga might find you. Banana in your ass with your head right behind you. Dope game, bitch. Let his mama worry about him. You can holler at me or fee. Okay, hello, it's the Martian. Space Jam Jordans. I want this shit forever. Wake up and smell the garden. Fresher than the harvest. Step up to the target. If I had one guess, then I guess I'm just New Orleans. And I will never stop like I'm running from the cops. Hopped up in my car and told my chauffeur to the top. Life is such a fucking roller coaster, then it drops. But what shall I scream for? This is my theme park. My mind shine even when my thoughts seem dark. Pistol on my side, you don't want to hear that thing talk. Let the queen talk, check the price and pay attention. Lil Wayne, that's what they gotta say or mention. I'm like Nevada in the middle of the summer. I'm resting in the lead, I need a pillow in the cover. Shh, my foot sleeping on the gas. No brake pass, no such thing as last. Good evening, y'all. I hope that came across a little bit better. My heart was broken just a little bit, but I am very, very grateful to be back here and to also for all the support and love I was showed on last week's show. So this is Miss Mecca's take for people that have been tuned in since 8 o'clock. It was all my fault that it didn't jump off at 8. Okay, I'm not any type of producer, engineer, or whatever, but I do be having a vision of how I think stuff is supposed to go. But since it's in my head, it is not always a reality. But we're here now, and like I said, thank you so much to everybody who gave feedback, left comments, and called with words of encouragement. I appreciate you so much. So it is 75 degrees in Dallas, Texas. Okay, Dallas is seeing some very, very interesting weather lately because it really is like summertime right here in Dallas, Texas in January. Like this is the weather that they have in Florida, that they always have in Florida in January unless something is happening. And we are seeing it right here in the beautiful city of Dallas. So I'm grateful to Dallas. Today I had an amazing experience having lunch at this awesome burger spot in Dallas that I'm not going to name. Like, you know, Montana, we were talking about gatekeeping last week. And I know that I'm not particularly a person who feels like that, you know, I don't know. But a person might consider it gatekeeping that some little spots that I found in Dallas, it's just the right mixture of everything. And I look around and I say, do they need me to tell anybody else about this place? No. They got enough business. I was literally sitting in there today, and when I took the first bite of the burger, and when I bit into that burger, I was like, this place deserved to have people wrapped around a building. And God is so awesome because like 6 people showed up right then and there. So I thought that was awesome. And the owner of the place, every time he see me come through the door, he come over to the counter and take my order. And it's so awesome because I always try to pretend like I don't know who he is. And he try to pretend like he don't know who I am. But he just served me with a spirit of excellence. And it's always an amazing experience. So shout out to Dallas, Texas for having some of the best little hideouts and spots, you know, better than anywhere I've seen in the world.
I see you still not going to share the spot, though. You never said the name.
Never. I'm never going to say the name. I mean, if you know, you know, it's a beautiful thing, but I don't want to even talk about it. God bless them. They doing just fine. They had the parking lot was full when I left. I said every single time that I go, it's going to be at 12:54 p.m. because 12:54 p.m. was a platinum time. I walked in right before the crowd. So bless all the doctors and people that came in there to eat. I looked around. I was like, this is a nice crowd. And I think that it's a good sign if you eat in a place and you see doctors eat there, because they know where the bullshit is. They know all that stuff that we don't even know what the name of it is. Like I heard this lady today at the pharmacy, and she was like, she told this lady, so you have the to ding 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 with a clever side, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, why they can't have it name some shit that we know exactly what it is? Why it's got to have such a complicated name? But anyway, other than having a great week and them stuffing, trying to stuff Cardi B and Stephon Diggs down our throat, I don't really know about much else that's been going on. They, every time you look around, they are pushing this Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. I'm kind of disappointed that this is happening. Only because I'm a huge football fan, and I don't want to think about somebody who, playing for the New England Patriots, whereas my favorite football player, Tom Brady, that's where he got his start and played for many years. I don't want to think about somebody playing for the Patriots and not just being serious. I don't know. It just seems like, to me.
So what part are you like not liking that they're shoving down our throats or in our faces?
Just every time he have a situation, they got to bring Cardi B up. She got to come out and respond. He keeps having situations after situations after situation, and it's just like, I don't know. I just like I've never honestly paid attention to him until he started being in the news with Cardi B, and I don't even follow Cardi B or anything that I thought was even really connected to her. But that's what I'm telling you when I say it's being stuffed down our throat, because how is this that made it over here on my timeline? And I don't even usually indulge in stuff like that. So anyway, I just think that it's starting to make, to me, I understand that somewhere, somehow, a lot of people making money off of clicks and views. But for me personally, I just feel like I like my football just a little bit more serious. I like it to be a little bit more mysterious. Like, I think it's all kind of... You remember that movie with Jamie Foxx, Any Given Sunday? Yeah. With Jamie Foxx and LL? Mm-hmm. So, I think that life imitates art, art imitates life. The shit that we saw way back then when that movie happened, on Any Given Sunday, that's the shit that happened in real life. Like, the girl...
Refresh my memory. What happened?
Well, when they showed the parties and stuff like that with the girls and, the girls, the drugs, the titties out, all that in a hot tub and hopping around, you know what I'm saying? And remember, somebody at one of the parties or something got hit in the face with a football, but it was just like what happens in this house stays in this house kind of deal. So I feel like everybody, got their own personal thing and their own personal life that they do. This is not like they pushing this out here like these are the first people in the world to do this stuff. And I'm not understanding why they want to.
Mecca, I blame Meta.
Okay.
That's who I blame. Because people are doing the most, you just said it yourself, people are doing a lot of clickbaiting, rage baiting, all of the above for these checks.
Right.
I blame Meta.
Well, I gotta, and I understand that because I didn't even know what to call it, but that's absolutely what it is. But on another note, too, it's like, okay, there are checks available for people to do whatever for the clicks and views, but why? Why are you willing to pay for someone to occupy someone's attention, even if it's not real, even if it's untrue? Like, and even if it is true, who cares? I don't. Like, and I think that that's one of the things that for me personally, I had to, before I came back into doing like any type of radio or public speaking, shout out to the After Party Live, because I would think I was saying the After Party Radio, but I did see After Party Live on there. I think that's dope. So shout out to you for making that adjustment. But yeah, I was kind of like really had to think a lot about it as far as, do I really want to put myself in a position where I'm in the public eye and my success is going to be measured by clicks and views, because I get views, I get clicks, but there are a lot of people that don't necessarily like what I have to say a lot of times, or sometimes they may not understand it completely, but I had to switch my mindset about it and get it off of that, because I had to also look at the people that I look at. The people that I usually look at, they might get 100 views. You know, they get, like, this one guy that I listen to, he always talking some real shit. But I look on there and it'll be like 24 hours we done passed and he'll have 23 views. And I'm like, he dropping some dope shit. But I think that when it gets to a point where people don't understand, they check out mentally. You know, low vibration shit is easy, because if you don't know what's going on, somebody in the comments gonna give you something a monkey see, monkey do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you really don't have to think about it. I was thinking about, for some reason, this all of this stuff that's been going on with Cardi B and Stephon Diggs, and then Trayvon Diggs, who was playing for Dallas Cowboys. And let's just take one time to shout out Dallas, Texas, because y'all can't do a damn thing without us, baby. Something about Dallas gonna be in every damn thing. Okay, even the Diggs brothers. Trayvon Diggs was playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys got to be mentioned. Tyler Perry ain't never lived in Dallas, but he had the Dallas Cowboys in Why Did I Get Married, or Brothers. What was it? Not the Brothers. No. What was the name of the movie where Morris Chestnut played for the New York Giants? And he Terrence,
Best Man, wasn't
Best
it?
Man.
Okay.
So they had to be playing Dallas in that movie. Okay. In every movie, Dallas is going to show up. Plus, it was a show named Dallas. So shout out to Dallas. It just ain't no other city like it in the world. I'm not trying to shade nobody else, but, you know, either you know it and you hear, or you don't, and that's okay. But Dallas has been in the mix always. And like I said, you got Trayvon Diggs, who just got, I don't know, because they said Trayvon Diggs had a concussion at home.
Yes, he had an off-field injury, off-work injury.
Yeah. So he had an off-work injury, and then I think it was another situation where he was supposed to have been on a he told them after a game, when they weren't supposed to be partying, they was told they weren't supposed to be going to the club and all that, and he said he wasn't getting a private jet with the team. He was going to stay behind for family, and then they had pictures of him at the club. So he had a lot of things that kind of got him in trouble. And if the Dallas Cowboys, and I understand, hey, the Green Bay Packers, that's already and also a platinum team. Shout out to them. Go Pack Go. I really thought Green Bay was going to do more this year, but we always got next year. But anyway, he's at Green Bay now, which interestingly, he said when Micah Parsons left, you know, he was negotiating some things before he left the Dallas Cowboys. And so he ended up going to Green Bay. But I remember there was something in the press at one time where Trayvon Diggs was saying that if Micah Parsons didn't stay, he didn't want to stay. So I think he just kind of started acting up because he wanted to leave, you know. That's awesome, because he got a chance to go to Green Bay and play with Micah.
Can I just ask you your opinion? Because, you know, I don't know much about football, so thank you for running this down for me. But
yeah,
is that really the best way to get out of a spot? Is by being defiant? Because what if that would have backfired and he wouldn't have got picked up at all?
Well, here's the deal. The Dallas Cowboys is just like, if you play for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't care if you play there for only 2 weeks. 9 times out of 10, you're prime. I don't care about the Cowboys not going to the Super Bowl. It's something about that star. We are still America's team. So with that being said, you know, you hear those boys at the Rookie Symposium, and they, you know, they talk about where they dreamed about going and playing when they grew up. If they ever saw themselves in the NFL, they most all of them say the Cowboys. So with that being said, once you pass through here, you can pretty much go anywhere, number one. Number two, I think that Green Bay was thinking about the putting that chemistry back together of Micah and Trayvon. But in addition to that, at the end of the day, Jerry Jones, the owner of Dallas Cowboys, don't play that shit about his money, about the franchise, about the prestige of keeping the Dallas Cowboys sparkling. So with that being said, yeah, that's the best way to get your ass up out of Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, because the Dallas Cowboys not having it. If you start acting up around here, you got to go. You know what I mean? You got extensive circumstances where you got records like Michael Irvin, you know, and God bless Michael Irvin, always been a kind man. I've been blessed to encounter him a couple times in Dallas at the Potter's house. Always kind, never howdy, just the same way. That's why when he was on Undisputed, I had so much respect for Michael Irvin, because Michael Irvin is just absolutely that same person in person. And he ain't gonna play. He gonna be his own person. What he tell what he tell Shannon Sharp? Code violation, nigga. only Michael Irvin could say something like that. But anyway, yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, that's the way to be defiant. It could have backfired, but you got Dallas. And once you got Dallas, you pretty much, you know, got some backing on you because you got selected by Dallas. It's kind of like an unspoken code in the league and in the world, really. But, you know, like I say, and then he has a baby by Jovi Chavez. Do you know that person?
That's Bow Wow's baby mama.
And Future baby mama.
I had no idea that was his. I didn't know.
Yeah, so that's Bow Wow baby mama, that's Future baby mama, and she was the one who recently came out and said she was upset that she hadn't been wifed up, that she got 3 famous baby daddies, but she hadn't been wifed up. But I'm like, the world is so big. Like every single day I see somebody I never seen before. How is it that everybody seems to be connected? And like I said, you know, they like everywhere you turn, there is somebody giving, every 5 minutes is somebody giving their version of the story, like, you know, what happened, you know, what they feel, what somebody's opinion of the people that are involved. And I'm just like, I don't feel like that them people, I don't know. I mean, I don't want nobody to think I'm trying meta. I'm not trying to stop your bags, but I don't think it's any reason for people to be responding to any of that. And I think that it's a big display of where we are as a world and as a culture, when that is something that we will put our energy into. Because if that's what they doing, it's gonna be a crash and burn. But why everybody act like they want to be the first to say it's a crash and burn? Like, about face and get to dealing with the shit that's going on in your life. You know, Cardi B, she's, you know, in my opinion, she's younger than me. She's never really, I done bobbed my head to a Cardi B song before. You know, I'm not going to say if I hear a Cardi B song come on, I'm going to say, you know, turn that bitch off. I'm not going to say nothing like that. But, but I am not going to necessarily follow her. You know, I mean, she's not really saying anything. And then when I said that to somebody one time, they was like, but she's got cute kids, so do I.
That's stupid. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry.
She posting her kids. To me, I feel like that if we really care about people like we say we do, I think that we shouldn't necessarily feed into putting them in positions to have to show their ass for a check. Because if we didn't pull up for the show, then it wouldn't be no money for the check, and then they wouldn't have to show their ass for the check. They could spend their time working on you. What did Dragonfly Jones said? You don't need to be on the phone anyway. You need to be at home practicing on your art.
You know, nobody asked me, but I really wish that some of these celebrities would take more of a Beyonce approach.
Yeah.
Because all your business ain't everybody's business.
Right. Well, I
Have
feel
a
like
history.
that. I feel like that contracts are contracts for a reason.
Well, Wayne is he's mysterious.
Yes.
He's not you if you want to know something about Lil Wayne, you got to go listen to Regine.
Exactly. And that's what I'm telling you. That's one of the things that's when I say that Lil Wayne is like a silent partner to a lot of people. That's another thing. No shade to nobody, but Lil Wayne put people in position to be able to get attention. Not that they wouldn't get attention on their own, but they get more attention because people are looking for some kind of little peep into his life. So by him being extra quiet and being very, very private, then he actually blessed everybody who is verifiably in his life to be able to get out there and do some things, because people feel like that's going to be a gateway, or you might catch a glimpse of him. And I don't know if he does that on purpose, but it definitely works. You know what I'm saying? For you know, he's, and I at first, you know, I was thinking to myself at one time that you know, Wayne always talk about how he not on social media and he's not, you know, looking at any of that. He don't want to see it. And I believe him. I believe everything Lil Wayne say. But when Lil Wayne did that song where he said, what did he say? Well, how does verse go? He said, fuck everything that they say about me. I done fucked every bad bitch that stay on South Beach. Mm-hmm. Money Talks Mine just gave a nice speech. Just lay the bitch down like Layla Ali. Is that the song I'm thinking about when you say, I don't know. Rich niggas still care. All y'all over some money. All y'all owe me some money. Yeah, well, that's how the verse go. All y'all, I don't know what song it come off of, but it's the verses in my head when I was thinking about that. He said, rich niggas turn all y'all hoes into money. All y'all owe me some money. Rich niggas still care. All y'all over some money. So anyway, he said all y'all owe me some money. Like everybody in the world, you know, can throw Lil Wayne a little change. But anyway, I was really thinking about how I feel like that people don't have as much of a choice. Certain people that are in certain contracts, I don't believe they have as much of a choice about what they do as we think they have. I don't think that they have, you know, it's like you sign a contract, you're in this contract, you get all this money because you're focusing on your haters and stunting on them. And that's exactly what they want you to look at. Because as long as you're looking at that, you're not looking at the fact that all this money we done gave you, you got to make it up and pay it back on our pay scale. So I feel like that when it comes to certain situations that we see and certain things that are placed before us, to go back and say, why wouldn't somebody take the Beyonce approach, you know, or the Lil Wayne approach and just be quiet? I don't believe that that's a part of their package. Mm-hmm. They can't be quiet, you know. It's like they can't not talk and get out there and make some drama or do whatever, because it's a part of you making sure. It's just like insurance. If this don't work, you got to go do this.
Oh, I cannot think of the celebrity right now because I just heard this comment from a celebrity.
Oh, shit. Uh-huh.
It's gonna come to me, but anyway, and his whole thing is the reason why he said he does talk is because he said he's going to control the narrative.
Well, you can say that, but if you really enjoying your life, you don't have time to care about the narrative, to control it. You know, I mean, who cares? I'm over here living my life, you know, with my people, my friends, my family. I don't have any friends. You know who my friends are? The people that I encounter on a daily basis. Like, I'll see people and then I don't see them anymore. Those are my friends. It's kind of like when I was a little girl, I had an imaginary friend, but now I have real imaginary friends.
Are you a loner?
I think that I am kind of a loner. Okay. I am. I would consider myself maybe, you know, not in no kind of cocky way or nothing like that, but I'm kind of, I think, what people would describe as a popular loner. Because a lot of people know me, but I don't really talk to them a lot. If I talk to them, I talk to them, but I don't talk to them like on a daily basis. I don't have anybody that like know what I'm getting ready to do, because I don't know what I'm going to get ready to do. But if somebody calls me or I'd encounter somebody, then they know what I'm getting ready to do because I'll share it. But I don't have anybody like that I tell everything to. The God, Jesus, that's my friend. But I'm enjoying with Jesus. I mean, me and Jesus be out here on some.
That's the only friend you need, though.
Me, it's the only friend I need. I know I'm not gonna snitch on me. I know Jesus is not gonna snitch on me. I know that Jesus is not gonna let me feel comfortable about doing something I don't have any business doing. And I thank God for every little glimpse of everything that He gives me, every inch of every individual. Shout out to, okay, so make sure that I say this. Is it Lucas or Lewis McCain? Lucas McCain. Shout out to Lucas McCain. You know what? Shout out to him. Okay, so when I was listening to his show this past show on Was Slavery a Choice, shout out to him because it helped me to see something about myself.
What?
And I think that this is something that a lot of people don't really acknowledge a lot of times. But what it let me see was you're going to feel differently about something depending on who put it out. I like him. He can't
like
do
you
no
too.
wrong. He can't do no wrong
Like,
to me.
I just want to say this. So Sunday when he came in, it was a young lady here. He was hoping it was you.
Oh,
So he was like, "That Mecca, no, that's not Mecca."
he is so
He
awesome.
likes you too. So
Yeah.
that's why.
I like D too. You know, and D is who, I don't know what his situation or anything like that, but I think that they are awesome. They are awesome balance. And the reason why I like Lucas so much is because he is so passionate in a respectful way about what he believes. But he always gives the persona or the mind, the aura of someone who does want to know. He want to be set straight. If I'm wrong, tell me. Yeah. But if it's not, this right here, you know, and this is what I'm standing on. And D, I love him because that man I stopped and said a prayer for that man that called it. I don't know who he was. Baby, he acted like he was about to bust his heart. And he was. And that is what we need to go back and check. Because at the end of the day, we still got God.
Yeah.
And it ain't no human being in the world, no matter what color they are, need to get you like that. Because whatever happened or didn't happen, I give myself peace in this. God allowed it. It wouldn't have happened if God didn't allow it. And every action begets a reaction. And at the end of the day, yeah, some bad things happen. But you know what? Niggas also out here dying every day, B, on some horrible shit. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you're not moved by the things that's going on right in your own backyard, but you know what I'm saying, upset about some people that was way back then or way over there, then you might need to measure your heart and your mind and see if things haven't been flipped inside out on you to where you are now the person who's being mean and hateful and hating somebody just for who they are. Like, none of us who came here can change who we are. We were born who we are. And if we are in the lion's den, then guess what? We serve a God, or there is a God that shut the mouths of lions. You know, that we can come out without a scratch. But that's what we got to have our mind. You know, I would not even for one moment think about serving a God or speaking of him or praying to him at all if I felt like that he disliked me so much that he put me here to always have the short end of the stick and I think that I don't care what anybody say. I feel like when the liberals are pushing all of this, you know, slavery talk and all of this racism talk and all that kinds of stuff, I don't care what anybody say. In my heart and my mind, in my honest opinion, it is an undergirding of antichrist behavior. Because if you're going to be mad at something and God is, you can't see it both ways. If you're going to be mad about something that you can't change or something that happened for whatever reason, God allowed it to happen, there is no man, no being, no entity, no evil spirit, no nothing that is more power than the creator of this world. If that's in your mind, then that other stuff don't have no room. If it's not in your mind, then that's what you need to check. And that's the only reason why it was allowed. You know, I'm going to win with this brown skin. I go all the way uptown. I go all the way downtown. I've been blessed. I don't stand out. When I go up to Highland Park, I'm bouncing around in Highland Park, Preston Hollis, Snapper Plaza. It's some black people in there, but I'm shopping. I'm doing my thing. Ain't nobody alarmed. I can also go down to the hood. And I can be right there in the hood in the same outfit that I was up in Preston Hollow. And don't nobody think I'm over there to buy crack either. I'm not standing out that way. We are blessed. We don't, we have the temperature and the liberty to blend in any situation. So with that being said, I don't see us as the underdogs because we are black. I don't care what anybody say. You supposed to dislike me unless you doing the same thing. And if you're doing the same thing as me, you don't have time to dislike me or feel threatened by me because you're so busy enjoying what you got going on. You don't even know what I've got going on. You might see it a little bit in passing, but you're trying to get back to the house that you built. What do you want for somebody to do? But I love the way the D just wasn't moved about nothing. He just listened. He ain't argued back. He just said, man, this man is mad. And so anyway, I see that a lot. And I also see that in a lot of elders, a lot of people that are older, in their 80s and 90s, and people are dying younger and younger. I think that people need to really, really pay attention to what they put their energy into, because everybody knows by now your life is what you make it. Your family is what you make it. If you want to sit around a bunch of motherfuckers just because y'all supposed to have the same blood running through your veins and let them abuse you, beat you down, make you feel bad, then that's the choice that you make. Because once you get of a certain age, you can walk away. You don't have to be a part of that. But it's some people that'll tell you that they have to do it because it's so-and-so, and that's a lie from the pits of hell. But if that's what people choose to do, let them do that. But I'm a living witness right now in 2025 in Dallas, Texas. In 2026 in Dallas, Texas. I don't have no issues going to do whatever it is that I want to do. As long as I go somewhere and I pull up in peace and I pull up to pay for whatever it is that I want, I go everywhere I want to go and I'm made welcome there. Even when I travel, I go uptown, I go downtown, I go all around town. I greet people with a smile, with a warm aura, you know what I mean, with a desire to be a blessing. I'm coming into your business, and look, if I can, I'm about one of everything you got. And we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to bless you. I'm going to look around the room and see if I see a picture, a number, or something that I can connect to speaking something positive over you. And then I'm going to move on. But all of this, getting all of this rah, and making us look like that we're incompetent, because here's the deal. A culture is measured. The value of a culture is measured by the strength of its men. And I truly believe that that's why there has been a campaign to break our men down, because they know that's our protection. That's the grit of our culture, our men. So it's a campaign to break them down because, for whatever reason, I don't know. I can't understand why, or even begin to explain why a lot of things that are happening. But I do know there's a lot of shit that's happening that don't make sense. And I think that we need to focus on the truth, on what's in front of us, because one thing that's not going to lie to you is your two eyes. You could choose to ignore the truth, but it is going to be right there in front of you. Now, people can write something down in a book. They can write a poem. They can write a song. It might be true. It might not be true. But what's not going to lie to you is what's right in front of you. And I really, truly believe that that's where our success lies. Because if this is the way that it is, this is the way that it's been, this is the way that God intended for it to be. And that's just on period. You're not going to trump him. So with that being said, maybe things that are put in front of you to challenge you are to bring out the best in you, not to necessarily call out the challenge. God already knew the challenge was coming. Nothing new up under the sun. He do place before us the opportunities of blessings and curses. And he said in Deuteronomy in the Bible, he said, I place before you the opportunity for blessings and curses, and I encourage you to take the blessings. He's not going to force them on you, but he's also making you aware of the fact that he cannot change, because he's not going to be unfaithful to himself, the consequences with you choosing the curses. The curses come with the consequences. So if every single thing that you think about, and every single thing that you say, and every single thing that you believe was served on you every night on a plate, what would you be full of? Because that's what you're putting out there. So think about that. If the only thing that you had to survive on was everything that you thought, everything that you believed, and everything that you said out of your mouth, would that leave you in a healthy state, or would that leave you in a malnutrition, sickly state? And I think each individual person need to evaluate and see like what that is. Because it's an adversary out here that don't want you to succeed. And for whatever reasons, black people, people of color, have been, I'm not going to say targeted, but I will say extremely gifted, mysteriously surviving circumstances that other people can't see themselves surviving. So if that is your story, and I think that is the story that is the foundation of who we are, then there's never going to be any room for someone to love you that also feels intimidated by you or does not understand you. But I feel like that we have tons of tools to be able to survive and to be able to thrive and to also be successful. And we can see that in the people who have already been successful. There's always been the opportunity there, but are you willing to do what it takes? Now, you got these other people, that say to themselves, I need to go out here and be a clown. I need to go out here and show my ass so that I can get a bunch of clicks and views and everybody can be talking about it. Like this whole thing with Jamal Bryant and his wife and the dress. Like, who cares? I mean, that is not, if you feel like that is something that you need to follow, you may need to be a part of, then wearing the dress or not going to wear the dress, wearing the dress, that's going to just be what you choose to be a part of. It don't make it right, but you can also not support it. Them people over there throwing money at New Birth, they know exactly what's going on there. That's a place they feel comfortable because they have a leader that makes them feel comfortable. It's no different than them damn people out there that was at Jonestown. They chose to be there.
Now, I was a little taken back, though. When I saw the bishop who commented and basically said she was looking like a $2 whore. And I even felt like in that moment, this man chose to do this at his pulpit and refer to this woman as a $2 whore. And I felt like, even in that moment, like, you did that for clicks and bait.
He's the same thing. The bishops, the apostles, anybody who is found online commenting about, they're the same thing as the people they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Because you're out here having your organization, your media department put out clips of you responding to this for the clicks and views and for the money. You're no different. Just because, like the Bible even say this too. It say, the word of God, so do the demons. Right. The demons read the word and tremble. They know the word. So with that being said, it don't matter if somebody is calling themselves something, who you are. I was talking to my cousin about this because she was talking to me about our church, and the way that our church that we grew up in, how it's just gone down through the years. And I said, I understand that it's a lot of people that are conducting themselves in a certain way, but it's also on the leadership. It's also about what you tolerate in your pasture of, you're supposed to be the shepherd, of these sheep. So with that being said, it's supposed to be certain things. All of those things that are written in Corinthians, Philippians, and all Galatians. Those were all different churches. So with that being said, you just have an example. We have promises from God within those letters and some like a base of, just like with the podcast. Basically, at the end of the day, in a nutshell, it operates the same way, but everybody got their own little twist on how they do it, how they backdrop is going to be, if they're going to use a green screen or whatever. So with that being said, the same thing with your church. You need to have rules and regulations based on your flock to make sure that you're doing what is best. You can't be reading off a spiral, doing what somebody else is doing. You got today's demons, not yesterday demons. So yeah, we have the Word of God as a guide. But I was reading the Bible the other day, and something so similar happened in my life that I read that I had never read before. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe it's a possibility that where some people want to accredit themselves into being like biblical scholars and they've read the Bible from front to back, like it's a possibility that maybe some of those things didn't actually happen, but maybe God put it in there because he knew it was going to show up in your life. Like God just that cold-blooded that he wrote out a foreshadow of your life like a movie and a cliffhanger that gives you that cliffhanger in the end and make you want to run the movie all the way back to the beginning and watch it from the beginning because you're like, wait a minute, I must have missed something. You know what I mean? So I feel like that people just need to get things in order and they know right from wrong. Some people don't take God seriously, and that's something that they either are going to have to one day do or they may never do. But I don't think it's something that everybody need to throw their 2 cents in and have something to say. You calling somebody a $2 whore for the shock value of it, but at the end of the day, it's some people, I don't care, I can pick it out. I go places. I will never forget. My nephew invited me to this church. He invited me to come and hear him sing. Oh, he's not my actual nephew. He's a good friend of mine's son. He called me auntie. And he invited me to his church and to come and sing. And so when you walk into the church, you saw a picture of the pastor and his wife on the photo when you walked in. But the choir, the kids all had nice voices, but they didn't necessarily seem to be singing like they were singing to God. They were performing, much like if you go and see kids at a high school perform in a high school choir. And so I will never forget the young man who was the leader of the choir, the group, was very, very apparently gay. Can I say gay? I can say, yeah. I don't want to make,
You said it.
Anyway. So he was obviously gay, and the pastor had another man with him. So the pastor had on really, really tight pants, and he was standing there with another man. I don't know if this man was his armor bearer or why he was right there, but he was right there with him like he was his his right-hand man. And so I noticed something. I observed the pastor taking his leg and putting his leg up on the stage with these really, really tight pants on. And he put his leg up on the stage and he was like gyrating like to the young man that was direct behind the young man who was obviously, and in front of behind him. And the pastor put his arm around the other man. And I don't know about you. I don't know. I don't like nobody putting their hand around my neck. I don't care if we...
When I see men do that, that look like, because I see 50 Cent doing that in a lot of his pictures where he get behind the dudes and like he choking.
Yeah. So it wasn't like he was behind him, but he definitely had his arm all the way up under the man's neck. And the man was obviously, and very, very making it obvious that he was uncomfortable with this. But this is the pastor. So people get into organizations and they want to be something in the organization, so they kind of overlook something, which really end up usually getting them types of positions, you know what I'm saying? But so anyway, yeah, and it was just a very uncomfortable situation, because I'm not blind to the fact that if you're not getting some type of sexual feeling by all that hunching the air, you should, because whenever I hunch the air, I think about sex.
Can I tell you that? So my one of my kids was in dance for years,
Uh-huh.
and that is something that the director, she and I even had a conversation about that, and she was telling me, because like I guess at the end of competitions, like there's a decompress like method she does with these girls, because that's for what you just said.
Yeah.
She was like, you're dancing is can be sexual.
It is. Dancing is very sexual. So with that being said, this is inappropriate. So I'm sitting there, and so like I said, I believe God is sitting here right here with me right now. And I'm thinking about how he looking at me when they doing something, and so now the ball is in my court on if I'm going to participate or if I'm going to stand here and look like a sourpuss, because I'm not participating. And that's one of those times where you have to, if you truly respect God and his presence, and you truly believe you always in his presence, that you're going to say, you know what? This is one of them times where I'm going to have to look crazy to everybody else, because I'm not going to play with him. And I see what's going on. So I'm not going to participate, and I'm not going to be going into those types of places no matter what they call themselves, because I'm not going to play with him. So I don't know. It's just a lot going on, and I really hope and pray that everybody is thinking about the reality of the consequences that come with their actions. If you're willing to, whatever consequences come with your actions, if you're willing to, just be a part of that and accept that, then by all means move forward. But everybody talking about it, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's, listen, whatever that man, at the end of them people life, they gonna have to go before God for themselves. Ain't nobody else gonna be there, and nothing that you had to say gonna make a difference. You gonna have to go for yourself. So it's not like it's no wrong or right, but if you choose to support it, then that is on you. If you don't think that it's right, then don't support it. Look at the other direction and go put your energy into what it is that you do like. I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding like them by even talking about that. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot of stuff that's not being talked about, a lot of stuff that can be talked about. And I think that at the end of the day, the conversations and the things that we discuss and do out in public should be short and sweet. And the things that we do in our own private spaces, those are the things that should get the abundance of our energy. I feel like that's what we should feed it into. I don't think there's anything wrong with us doing like what we're doing right now, because it's a blessed opportunity to kind of pull people coattail, and kind of bring people back to a place of.
And I don't think we do that a lot.
No.
Why do you think that rather than pulling a coattail, we would engage in the bait?
I think it's because people are not as courageous as they say they are. And it takes courage to not go along with the crowd. And that is the reason why sometimes I believe a fake crowd is even built to encourage people to move in a certain direction, because it looks like if you say something about somebody that you're going to get attacked. And people can't, you're a hater. But I really don't care about what anybody may have to say about me behind my back, because you're not going to say it to me. So, and if you do go and make a fake page so that you can respond to me, you made a fake page. The Lord knows Meta knows. Everybody knows. So you might as well have done it in your own in your own face. But you can't even do that. So, I don't even get mad at them type of people. I sympathize with them because I be feeling like if I start making fun of somebody, I might, you know, but God, the way I see God is so big and bold and cold blooded. I feel like I be scared he might pull some Freaky Friday on me if I call myself trying to laugh at somebody or put them down. He keep me humble because if I
Won't he
wake up,
do it?
if I wake up and I'm not me, and I'm some of these people I'm thinking about, I'd be like, come on now, dog. Come on, I can't. He'll be like, no, you talking all that noise. Okay, you heard Jay-Z. You made Jay, make another J. You know what I'm saying? If you made J, make another J. But, yeah, I feel like that it is, you know, a lot of times, people just kind of falling in line with the crowd. And I think that the end result, the actual reward, don't necessarily line up. And I feel like that's the same thing with a lot of these people. I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but I feel like that a lot of these times when people want to claim that they've been violated and all of this stuff. Yeah, there are some people out here that's doing some things, but there are also a lot of people that are out here that want some revenge because things didn't go the way they wanted it to go. People had another vision in their head. I mean, we've seen it, before. It's not with every case, but a lot of people out here, they think that it's going to be one thing they don't expect, or, they thinking a little bit too much of themselves. And then when it don't go the way that they want it to go, then they use the tools that have been provided, to try to take a person down. People have a lot of different tactics and a lot of different ways that they try to get some form of revenge. And then it's not even just females. I also want to say something too. Last week when I said women were the most evil thing that God created, I wasn't necessarily calling women directly evil. I was saying that it's nothing else more vicious than a woman that if she's determined to do something to you, she's gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what I really meant. I wasn't necessarily calling women evil. And I also want to say I didn't think I made it clear when you asked me the question, when you were asking me about Lil Wayne and if Lil Wayne ever did anything like that or came out, publicly or went to a Turning Point USA event. Nothing but nothing could ever make me stop listening to Lil Wayne music. Because Lil Wayne music is my music. It's like, I feel like Lil Wayne music was written for me because it mirrors so much of the things in my own life and things that I can literally sing along with it. And it's like, yeah, this is happening right here with me as well. Not necessarily like things in particular that he might be doing, but things that he may peep and how he might have to just kind of peep something and still navigate his way through it is what I pick up on. So with that being said, that actually happened. That song was actually made. And so nothing that he could ever do or say outside of that could make me say, I will never listen to his music again. No. I mean, I might not feel like if I found out certain things, or not found out because I don't feel like it's nothing to find out. But like, say for instance, if somebody like showed me a picture, oh, look at Lil Wayne saying this or doing that, and I just was absolutely against it, or I felt like it was really, really bad, like it might make me not want to like tongue kiss Lil Wayne no more. But I might be like, I was gonna slap you down, but now I can't slob you down. But I don't even think it's nothing like that in the world that exists. So no, but I feel like all of this stuff. I also wanted to say all of this stuff that's been going on, like with the whole Stephon Diggs, Cardi B, the other baby mamas. Now they're saying something about a live-in chef that he allegedly assaulted or something like that. And it's just all of this stuff and all this back and forth. And I'm going to tell you where it pushed me. It pushed me to go back and look at the movie Him.
Okay.
Did you see it? The Jordan Peele movie
I've
Him?
never seen it.
Mm. Well, it was really interesting. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who haven't seen it, but it was interesting because I think it's got like a 31% Rotten Tomatoes rating, because everybody kind of expected Jordan Peele, who also did Get Out, and they kind of expected Jordan Peele to come out with another, banger like that. And so something that was a little bit more, even though I don't even think people really, when you hear people talk about it and people that are fans of Get Out, I don't really hear them talk about it the way that I saw it. But everybody had their own perspective of how they see things. But it was interesting how Him didn't necessarily get a lot of, you didn't hear a lot of people talking about it. And the people that did see it, they gave it a review like they really didn't like it. And it's very interesting because it was very telling. I think that it was like, to me, like a modern day Eyes Wide Shut, to where it was, kind of exposing some things that may go on behind the scenes that I think that people just didn't want to accept because it was tied to a sport that they love so much, and they didn't want to think about, anything about it not being pure. I think people tell themselves that everything that they see is just the way it is or whatever. But in the movie Him, just of course, it was this guy who he wanted to be the GOAT football player. And they send him, to spend time with his idol, who had been his idol ever since he was a little boy, played by Marlon Wayans. Bless you. And so he, I don't know, it just so much of it don't seem like it's even, 1000%. And I feel like the good news is, I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, I'm just sharing my thoughts. But I feel like that the good news is that in the event that it could be something that is not, in the event that it could be something that it's not, what am I trying to say? Like, say for instance, it is all staged, right? If it is something that's all staged, I don't know why I'm so hot. The good news is that the negative forces are losing their power. Because anytime you got to keep heaping it on and heaping it on and heaping it on, it don't have the power that it had in another time where you could just say something and put it out there. And that's also what I was saying when I said it seems like that they are just stuffing it down our throat. Because why is it that every time you look up, somebody else is talking about it? Now, like, you know, think about whether I had recalled in the past where there was like some scandal prior to going to the Super Bowl. And then another thought I had was, is the Super Bowl the scandal? Like, it's always a lot of scandal around that, and it's like, I don't know. I don't put a lot of energy into it, to be honest with you, but I will say this. When I see things, sometimes I really do have a big question mark over my head, like, or a big question mark over that. Like, are, what's the point right here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of what they're on just for the, you really don't best thing to be. But I heard something where there was a blogger, like a blogger. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you call the people that do like reaction videos and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that's reaction videos.
Yeah, and so it was a reaction video, and on the reaction video, they were talking about the title of his reaction video was, should Cardi B get a pass for saying nigga all the time? And I said, I listened to it, something like that. I can't remember when he was doing his reaction, she was like, I can get niggas. I always get niggas. It ain't shit to get a nigga. And I was thinking to myself, you know, there are a certain class of people that you could get. You know, it's unfortunately a lot of people out there that would just be like, yeah, hey, this is Cardi B, she's a mixed breed or light skin or Puerto Rican, whatever she is, and she's got money and she's a famous rapper. But you know what? When I was hearing all that, I'm like, first of all, I know who you couldn't get. You couldn't get my grandfather. My grandfather would not fuck with you or take you seriously at all. You know what I'm saying? Being said, when you talk about how you can get niggas, yeah, there are some niggas that.
Not trying to say Stefan Diggs is not, but
Well, Stefan Diggs is young. He's in his 20s. So it's not even nothing like.
he in his 20s.